Welcome back to the podcast room. We're here joined today with Lindsey Piccirilli. Now, she has been a long time camp person, an amazing camper turned counselor turned even director now, and we're gonna kind of hear from her. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you go to church, about your family, who you are.
Yeah, so like Alex said, my name is Lindsey. I grew up going to Camp Lebanon, and I'm currently the children's pastor at Day Spring Church in Cincinnati. I've been there for a little bit over a year and love it. I've been at camp since I can remember, starting in kindergarten at K-Day camp, spending my first overnight here, and then just kind of going from there, growing up here, doing things for the older camps. And then as some people aspired to be a counselor, I always knew I wanted to be a director. I wanted to be Bob Daniels and Pastor Andy. And so I did take a few years as a counselor and then kind of went a different path for a while. But when I came back into ministry, I landed in the Southwest District and spent a year as the camp speaker for Pastor Leah. And then right after that, Pastor Andy asked me about directing. And so here I am.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. I think for those that are part of camps right now that are mainly just campers or even junior counselors and some senior counselors, is there anything you could like share with them on like, hey, if you want to get more involved, like, these are the things we're looking for. These are the things to do. These are the ways to go about this.
Yeah, for sure. So when we think about counselors and even junior counselors, they are such a crucial part of camp. And I don't think people really fully understand that because they think about, oh, I got to register my kids. I got to do this, got to do that. And then they go and graduate. And a lot of them we don't see. But the cool thing is, especially being at my camp and kind of in the middle, 7 years after they graduate out of my camp, they're coming back as junior counselors.
Yes.
And as junior counselors, even counselors, like you are so much a part of that life change for kids.
Yeah.
As a director, I mean, I get to facilitate and I get to plan this out for a year, but I can't be one-on-one with the kids throughout camp when they're here that week. I'm running around making sure everything is working right, making sure we're putting out all the fires, but those counselors get to spend 24 hours a day with these kids, talking to them, praying with them, helping lead them to Christ. I mean, this is where I accepted Christ in Midler Camp. Yeah. So I know how important it is to have those counselors that can talk to us and to feed into our lives and to have lifelong relationships afterwards. Like I see them year after year. And I mean, there's counselors that I see now that are adults and I'm an adult and I'm like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you were my counselor. And so that's so cool just to remember them and to be a part of that.
We were just having a conversation with one of our guys, Noel, who's over at Monroe. And we were doing a job together, and he was like, Alex, I don't even know if you know this, but you were my counselor. And I was like, dude, I had no idea. Like, I remember the kids, obviously, but I didn't remember him specifically at the time. And I was like, he was like, dude, it's because of you guys and several others. It's not me. It's nothing to do with me. But several others that he was here, they just did, him and a few of his guys around his age, early 20s-ish, they came back and counseled. This was their first year at camp, counseling camps. And all of them unanimously was like, this was my favorite year of camp, right? Like being a camper is amazing, but being a counselor to me is just the next level on top of that.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. I mean, people come back and they counsel and they realize the impact or they want to be that impact for people. And so it's really cool to hear those stories to kind of get everybody's talents, you know, what they're good at. When they come, they're counseling a cabin, but they're also helping out with games, with sports, with crafts, whatever it is. And kind of you can use those talents in this atmosphere and kind of help kids blossom and encourage them to come back. So definitely encouraging getting online and registering to be a counselor. We need them because we can't do it without them.
We'll share the link in this.
Yes,
we need
please.
you on there right now.
Sign up.
So, I mean, just we're kind of getting on a tangent about counselors and stuff, but the reason counselors need to sign up now is because that's how you base your numbers, right? So you're, correct me if I'm wrong, you're in charge of 4 or 5 camp.
Yes.
Just 4th and 5th graders.
Yep.
Right? So before we dive into that, just share a little bit about what 4 or 5 camp would look like from maybe.
So Camp 4 or 5, we're kind of getting into being big kids in Camp 4 or 5, and we stay more than one night. So the kids get excited because, you know, they're using the showers, hopefully. And
hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And they're doing a little bit more. So, you know, we're doing zip line a few more times. They kind of get to pick and choose the things that they want to do with the water slide, the boats, the zip line. We have devos in the morning, and then we kind of split off into small groups after our service time so they can kind of get in-depth conversation with their counselors. Yeah. When the kids come, they're put into a cabin with either kids from their church or kids that they know. They're also put into a color team, so they kind of travel around with that color team throughout the week, and they do all the things together, learn together, do Bible study together, and just kind of get to enjoy life with their counselor in that experience. So for parents, I promise your kids will be safe and they will have lots of fun.
Oh, yes.
And hopefully they will come back not so dirty, but pack them clothes that you don't mind getting a little rough, because they might be a little smelly after camp.
Yeah. Well, kind of leading to that, so letting parents know kind of what to bring. Is there a list out there that parents can see, that campers can see? Is there resources out there so they kind of know what to expect? Obviously, I mean, we get muddy out here. Having a second pair of shoes is always a great idea.
Yeah.
What are some of those things?
So when you go online to register, you'll register your kids. Make sure you fill out the entire registration form, and then you can also go on there and see a whole list of things that they need to pack. There's also a few different things that you might want to think about. We have the camp store, and then they can bring money for that, or they can load money onto a card. And then definitely, like you said, an extra pair of shoes is always great, an extra outfit or two, because there are days where they want to change halfway through the day. They will bring a bathing suit because we'll go on the water slide, but it is a water slide, so just think through those things and make sure it's comfy for them. And pack for rain, pack for cold, pack for hot, because we never know what to expect, especially during our week of camp.
I think one of the biggest things people always forget is like when we're sitting around a fire at night, on how kind of chilly even a summer evening kind of gets. I mean, I think there was one year up in the camp store, I think within the first 20 minutes we were there, we sold every hoodie that was there, because everybody's like, I forgot a hoodie.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Mornings are chilly too when they're walking around outside and it's cold by the water, so definitely pack something to.
One of the things you said was, like, so when they register, they get to go to a cabin, and they're more likely paired with the kids from their church or kids they know. Say one of my kids is coming to this camp. Can they request to be with a friend if they're at a different church or something like that? Is there any procedure they go through with that?
Yeah, so when they register online, it has a question where it asks, what church are you from? So definitely put that in if you're with a church. If you're not and you're just coming with a friend, put that friend's name, first and last name. We ask that you keep it to one, just because it's kind of hard. The cabins are limited, and so this friend wants this friend and this friend wants this friend, and so we do our best. I promise we do our best. I'm already trying to plan things out. So we try to make it as enjoyable as we can so that they know their friends and that they're together, but we also want them to make new friends. So that's why we do the color teams, so that they're still with that friend, but there's more. We'll pair like a boys cabin with the girls cabin, so they get to know each other and they get more adult and junior counselor interaction. But we do our best to make sure that they can stay with their friends, but they have to register online early and they have to put their friend's name.
And two, one of the other things, kind of jumping backwards too, was you were talking about getting them registered and things like that, and we're talking about counselors. So counselor registration is open right now. Camper registration at the time that this probably is posted out is not going to be open yet. So that'll open later on, but counselor registration is open now. The need to have counselors registered right now is because you can't even figure out for 4 or 5 camp how many students you can bring in until you know the counselors you have, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so a couple years back, we decided to kind of staff the camp and only open up spaces for campers that we have counselors for. Instead of just bringing in all of these campers and worrying about how we're going to find counselors, we now do the counselors first. So they can go ahead and register, and then we won't open up for campers until April. And so we'll look at how many counselors we have, and then we'll open up that much cabin space. And so it's kind of ratio based for each camp. Less kids for the younger groups than we have for the older groups. But that way we can kind of handle our situations easier, make sure that the kids are getting intentional one-on-one time with their counselors. And so that's why it's so important that they go ahead and sign up junior counselors too, because I can only open up as much space as I have counselors, and we want to make sure that any kid that wants to come can come.
You don't want to be like, hey, I mean, we've had a lot of kids register. I mean, and the problem is maybe not so much with 4 or 5 camp as it is maybe 6, 8, and 9, 12, where the numbers get a little bit higher, but I feel like it's the same throughout all the camps.
Yeah, we want to make sure that when April comes and we start registering the kids, that we can have as many spots as we need to house all those kids, and we don't have to wait list anybody. And that way, once they get registered, we can keep planning the fun and making sure we have all the supplies that we need to be ready to go. Because we're the first week of June, so our camp is we hit the ground running.
Yeah, this is the trial run camp to make sure the rest of the summer goes okay.
We get to kick it off. We're excited to be the first camp every year.
Oh yeah, 4 or 5 camp is one of my favorite camps.
It's a good time.
The entire time, because they're old enough to do stuff, but they're still young enough to want to have fun. Right? Once you kind of leave 4 or 5 camp, they get in that preteen, junior high age, and then high school age. It's like, I don't want to do that. That's not cool anymore.
We don't have a lot of downtime. It's jam-packed with things for them to do. So.
Is there one or two things specific to your camp away from the other camps, like activity-wise or anything like that, that kids are always looking forward to?
Yeah, so last year we implemented Messy Mayhem, and that was the first because I wanted something cool. Like junior high camp has the shaving cream war, so we wanted to do something a little bit different. So that was fun. We implemented slime and color dust, and we're going to have foam bubbles this year, and so.
From a
That's
facility
really
standpoint
gross.
of cleaning, this is a great idea, and we love it very much. No, I'm just kidding.
But we're also the first week, so it cleans up by the end of the month. But yeah, so definitely pack that extra pair of clothes because we get a little gross there. That and then the dodgeball tournament. We love the dodgeball tournament because I remember playing against you dodgeball many years ago, and it's just something for the kids to come out and have a good time. And so we always have those things planned. And then honestly, the kids love the service time. Like I did a comment card at the end of camp. And people were saying, like, we need longer services. We need more worship time. Like, how cool is that these kids want to take their time?
That's something I would not expect a 4 or 5 camper to write down.
I know. I didn't either. I mean, and that's the things that they want, and they get excited about, and they want to worship, and they want to learn, and they like the speakers, and they like the Devo time. And so that's great that we're able to have that and to have fun and food and everything else all at one time. So.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. Well, we are so glad that you're in charge of 4-5, and we are so looking forward to this week. We're so looking forward to getting as many counselors registered right now, so Lindsey and all these other directors can start planning their numbers of campers. We're expecting, every year we've had camp. It's just grown, exponentially. Really since this core team of you guys as directors has really came on. I think everything has just been amazing and fantastic. It's more for me and my team to keep up with, to maintain things. The more kids that are here, the crazier it gets, but we absolutely love it. But, hey, thank you so much for coming here today. Thanks for sharing this information. We'll have the information to register as a counselor available here, and then we will let you know up soon when camper registration is going to open. That's usually around April 1st, right?
Usually, yes.
Usually.
We say early April.
We keep it on April 1st just because it's April Fool's Day. So,
it might be there, it might not.
It may or may not be there. Joke will be on you. No,
counselors sign up first.
Yeah. So, hey, if we haven't seen you, if you would like to sit down with us, we'd love to see you out. If you have a story to tell or a testimony to share, we'd absolutely love to see you. So come on out. See, that's what I want you to say. People will be like, freaking Bob Daniels.